And then came Hassan Rouhani.
Moving on, 30 years since the day George Orwell chose for his dark look at how the future will turn out. In this special report, I-24 News reporter Uli Shapira examines how close we are to Orwell's famous vision.
As 2013 ends, 2014 begins, one book comes to mind, George Orwell's 1984. The classic work that described the dark vision of the future and brought phrases such as Big Brother and Thought Police into daily use perhaps best expresses the current concern with technology, surveillance acts by authorities, and the loss of privacy in modern life.
I think we can take everything from Orwell's vision to our days, in the sense that he wrote a book that seemed during the Cold War era as a book about Soviet totalitarianism. But it's really a book, in my opinion, about politics as usual.
Orwell, who fought in the Spanish Civil War, discovered how individuals are recruited to a mission in the name of freedom, but are actually being manipulated to be pawns in political game. In 1947, while staying in Myanmar, Orwell decided to write an allegorical book about a war dominated by a totalitarian regime where security cameras spy on all citizens, private life does not exist, falling in love is forbidden.
At one point, Winston Smith, the protagonist, says to O'Brien, it can't be that politics is going to overwhelm human life. I mean, something will have to defeat you. And O'Brien, the representative of the political party, with all the power, says to Winston, well, what power can defeat us?
Looking back at the current year, it seems that Orwell's vision is more relevant than ever.
Great Britain's George Orwell warned us of the danger of this kind of information. The types of collection in the book, microphones and video cameras, TVs that watch us, are nothing compared to what we have available today.
Edward Snowden's revelation that the NSA using the internet to spy on millions of people might reinforce the feeling that Big Brother is watching us. Though Orwell mainly referred to dark regimes, such as the fascism in Spain and the Soviet Union, it is easy to adopt his ideas to our days. Nevertheless, some, like futurist expert Professor David Passig, think it is the other way around.
Those same technologies that open our private lives to institutes and to governments, the same technologies are in our hands too. So we can watch government in ways that humanity did not realize it can do.
1984 describes a future where the world contains only 3 super-states. But Passig does not just dismiss this dark forecast, but predicts that in the future humans will live in much smaller communities and the idea of a national state will fade away.
That entity is going to go through very profound changes. And some are saying that it's going to dissipate and it's going to take a form of very small authorities, not the centralized authority that we were striving for in the last century.
30 years after the Orwellian vision, it is still unclear where humanity is going and if his nightmare can become reality.
Unfortunately, I'm afraid that the answer may be that we are closer to Orwell's vision today with all the technology surrounding us than we were perhaps even in 1984 when the Cold War was still on.
Think about what people thought when they have discovered the fire, when they discovered the wheel. Each generation reached a point in which they have discovered something, and it was always very frightening.
One thing is clear, wherever there is free spirit and free thought, 2 + 2 will never be 5.